here with another video where I share my thoughts and opinions on someone or something going on in this wacky weird wrestling world. As you can tell by the title below, this one will be about my thoughts on Brian Cage. Would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on him down in the comments below. Do you like him? Do you not? Why not? Would love to know, again, down in the comments below. And I don't remember the first time I heard of or seen Brian Cage. I assume that it was through PWG, like their highlights to promote XYZ show back in like 2014 time period. Don't get me wrong, for a big muscular guy, he is agile. Him on the mic is better than what I would be. And by the way, all of this is Brian Cage, the wrestler. I don't know him, the human. I never seen him wrestle in person, just strictly him as a wrestler. But like I said, him on the microphone is better than what I would be under any circumstance. And I also can't really remember a promo that he did, if that makes sense. I just remember every time he talks on the mic, oh, that was average kind of deal. There's definitely people out there in wrestling a lot more entertaining than him on the microphone in the ring character work, and there's a lot of people who are less entertaining or good in the ring from a technical standpoint, if that makes sense. When it comes to Brian Cage though, he is one of those guys where if I don't see him wrestle, I don't miss him kind of deal. Because it's just one of those things where, again, no disrespect to the human, like I don't know him, but it's one of those things where what he's offered to the table that I personally have seen in the last decade or so I don't want to say hasn't been anything special, because again, if you look at him, he's your stereotypical wrestler. I don't know how tall he is, but let's say 6 foot nothing, like 250 pounds of muscle kind of deal. Like he's your stereotypical wrestler, but he's agile. Like he can do all this flippy, maybe not flippy sugar honey iced tea, but more flippy than what you would expect kind of deal. But it's also one of those things where it's like last 10 or so years, I don't want to say he hasn't improved, because he probably has, but it's one of those things where he hasn't what he's brought to the table that I've seen isn't necessarily what I want out of wrestling kind of deal. Like I would want to be entertained. Again, I'm not saying that he's bad at wrestling on the mic character work. Again, I don't think he's evolved off the top of my head that I've seen, but it's one of those things where it's like, if I don't see, let me put it this way. If I hypothetically go to an AEW/ROH show, and if I see Brian Cage wrestle in person, it'd be like, oh, cool, Brian Cage. But also, if he does not wrestle, does not appear in person, like in the ring, talking on the mic, attacking somebody, wrestling itself, I would not be butthurt. It would be like, I don't want to say I would forget about him, but it's one of those things where if I had to rank every single person in AEW that appears often enough, he would not be in the top half of guys like, I'm going and watching Dynamite for XYZ wrestler. Brian Cage, for me personally, not that wrestler. If he is for you, I would love to know why down in the comments below. Again, this is not a knock on him personally or professionally. I could have a million years of in-ring experience and he would still be better than what I would be, even probably a year into his career. Again, I think he's been around for when I say a long while, according to Cage Match, 2005 was his first match. A long time. I was like 11-ish, I think, based off math. But again, like, even his first match was probably a lot better than my 1 millionth in a hypothetical world. But yeah, it's one of those things where whenever I see him wrestle, I don't really care. Whenever I don't see him wrestle, I also don't really care, if that makes sense. But yeah, again, nothing against him the human or him the wrestler. He's just, for myself personally, whatever. Again, if you like him in the ring or on the mic, whatever the case might be, would love to know why and what made you a fan down in the comments below. It would be greatly appreciated by yours truly.